Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patara with you this morning. I'm gonna tell you, I'm in the fog and the rain. We're at least above freezing. And we've had a great delivery this morning, but I'm gonna make this video short and sweet. I say that every time, so let's see how long it takes. We've been doing YouTube for 4 years now, going on 5 years. We've been up here doing this quite a bit. And I, really want to always hit home with properly, honestly, brutally advising people when it comes to homesteading. I get a lot of questions. I know a lot of YouTubers and folks out there probably do, especially from folks that want to transition to this lifestyle. I've made videos similar to this before, but every now and then I get a reminder because I get a lot of questions at some certain time, or it's a certain time of year, or we personally have to invest into doing something that we didn't plan for, specifically say a year ago or 6 months ago, and then everything has to change. I want to always zone in on this hardcore fact, and here's what it is. Are you ready for it? Homesteading is not free. I don't care who you are, I don't care what channels you watch. A lot of times when I'm gonna be very brutally honest here, it's not personal towards anyone in particular. It's just, when you get on Facebook or you get on YouTube, you get blasted with all of these crazy, you can build a chicken coop for $1.77 stuff. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a 9.9 times out of 10. That is a bunch of bunk. Now, what I want you to consider before I go forward in my little talk here is you have to take into consideration a lot of different variables, and frankly, that would take an hour or 5 to discuss. Not every situation is the same. Not everybody's location is the same. Not everybody's finances is the same. And certainly what you may already have or where you're moving to in terms of what you may have as far as scraps or buildings or things or skills, every bit of this is going to be different per person and per family. Okay, so in other words, if your husband is a builder and he's got tons of scraps from his company, well, he may be able to come in and build you, a chicken coop for $1.77. The reality is, though, at some point that didn't cost $1.77. You may have scrap pieces, and that's good that you can repurpose or go forward with all these items. But that somewhere down the line didn't cost somebody, probably you, $1.77. So had you not spent $10,000 renovating your kitchen, or adding on to your bathroom, or building a barn, you wouldn't have those $1.77 scrap pieces to get away with your chicken coop today. So always remember, when it goes down to the bottom line, nothing is for free. And if you do build a chicken coop for $1.77, I would not advise you put your $50 Morans in there, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's just a matter of time that something gets in there and wipes it out. You catch my drift? So I want to be really honest with you always about this life. Now, you pick and choose what you want to do. You pick and choose. Do I want to add on to my barn? That's what you're seeing laying over here right now on the ground. Is I just got my Christmas and my Valentine's present. I get these types of gifts for... We're so romantic. I get goat stands and things like that for Valentine's Day. Well, this year we got metal, okay? Frankly, I'm hoping for my anniversary I get somebody professional to come pressure wash my house, because you know why? I'm not falling 30 feet off the ground to pressure wash that farmhouse. Imagine that medical bill. You catch my drift? So my point is, you always have to think ahead. Moving to the country isn't free. Because let me tell you why. You're going to have things you never considered. We've done videos on like this before. Septic tanks and property taxes. And I'm going to tell you what, you may like to get away from society, but about once a month or so, you might have to travel to town, or more than that if you homeschool, or if you have medical appointments. Check and see what you're going to be spending on gas. I'm really thankful it's less than $2 a gallon right now. Praise the Lord. I didn't think we'd ever see that again. But nonetheless, nothing is for free. We alone, since Christmas, have spent over $1,000 cash on things that we must have or do for our farm. We didn't have to buy the metal. We don't have to extend the barn and make a huge stall, or to make another woodshed, but frankly, we really need it. So instead of going to the beach this summer, or instead of getting diamonds for Valentine's Day and a big expensive dinner, we're getting metal. Up there, you saw we just got another delivery of hay. We're going through it like wildfire because we have, 10, 11 goats, and we've got 2 cows. And guys, we're going through bales of hay every single day. We get a great deal. We get $3 a bale. That is insane cheap. But nonetheless, when you're buying 200 or 300 bales a year, minimum, that adds up. When the cold hits and you realize you've got a busted pair of coveralls, yeah, now there is something right there I can be cheap and get away with, and I'm going to. I'll rubber band this or whatever, because right now I don't feel like spending $50, $60, $75 for a pair of coveralls. I'm going to wait. But the metal did not need to wait any longer. We got to finish this. The hay, I have to feed my animals. I showed you at the front of the video, and I have one coming on something called Lespedeza. It's very important, it's very efficient, and very wonderful for your goats especially. Okay, we'll get into that. It's $25 a bag. I got a shipment in, so I spent some. So my Christmas this year was a couple of really nice gift cards from family and friends, from Tractor Supply and things like that, and I've spent every bit of it already. Bought new water bottles. Got a delivery of straw over here just the other day that Mr. Peaches has decided to claim as his new king of the mountain bed. That's not free. So I want you, especially you ladies, because I know you ladies are doing the finances around your house, okay? 9 times out of 10, we're the ones that, busted coveralls. We're the ones that get anxious about finances a little bit more than men, usually. I want you to be self-sufficient. We should all try to be self-sufficient as possible. But I don't want you to go cheap. You're going to end up spending more money in the long run trying to be cheap than being efficient. So where does that go for you from there? That means you may have to slow it down a little bit. I was talking to a lady at Walmart the other day before yesterday. I had to go to town. I had to go to Walmart. I had to drive 30 miles to go to Walmart, or you'll spend, 50 miles to go to Food City or wherever you go. You're not breaking away from modern society. I'm sorry to tell people, that is a false thing. You can be more self-sufficient, but you still are going to, I guarantee it, in some way, fashion, or form, still rely on the life in modern society, one way or another, okay? It costs money. Think about ways, sit down and think of the things, if you're starting out, that are most important to you. I'm dumping manure all over this garden, that's what you're saying. Is it a garden? Is it a chicken house? Is it learning a certain skill? Pick that top 3 and only do those top 3. And start small with them. You don't need a 12,000 square foot garden the first year. In fact, the first year you come to your property, I'm pretty much advising you to do nothing. I think some folks get a little shell-shocked when they come to East Tennessee and certain rural areas, and they get out in the middle of nowhere and they're like, yeah, there's really nothing here in certain places. You have to build that, okay? Some folks look at properties and houses and they'll see 50 acres and a 3,000 square foot home for less than $200,000, $150,000 or something. Are you really in a good location? Every step that you make, you need to think about, you need to investigate, and you need to know there's a cost one way or another. Your time, your energy, and especially your money. Start small, slowly build big, okay? End your project before you start another. Now, I'm guilty of not necessarily doing that all the time, okay? But I've learned. So that's what I want to pass along to you today. Yes, it's raining. At least we're not freezing. Barn's doing good. Cochise is doing good. Everybody is doing really, really well. I'm a little bit slower to add this year. We've talked about that before. Because I realize, as we've been doing it several years, it costs time and money. Another thing I want to say before I shut this video down, and I've said this before too. We were talking about milk. I'm going to talk about milk, and I'm going to talk about chickens. An amount of animals that you might have. Folks, if you get a dairy cow, if you get a dairy goat, you're going to have a lot of costs. People get real excited about being self-sufficient with raw milk. I do too. It's glorious, but I pay dearly for it. You buy the cow. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get a free cow. 9 times out of 10, if you get a free cow, there's a reason you're getting that free cow. You're going to pay for it one way or another. So know that in advance. Know that you're going to have vet bills. Know that you're going to have to buy a lot of hay. Because, guys, most of us don't have 100 acres of grass that this creature is going to be roaming and this beast is going to be eating on, that we can, technically sufficiently rotate. And even if you do, at some point, you're going to have to plant grass. You're going to have to replace things. You're going to have to add things. That costs time and money. Guess what that might be? That's called a tractor. Have you priced tractors lately? Yeah. So, I know it's a little bit of a rant. I know this is not exciting, but I get so many questions and people that are, leaving this place and going here, and they get there and they start to think and they wonder. They've seen things, they've heard people say, well, yeah, you can move to Tennessee and buy a house for $6,000, have 30 acres, and you can build a chicken coop for $1.77. Well, if you got a chicken coop for $1.77, you got 1 hen in there, and that's not real, that's not high on the self-sufficiency list. And know this, when you look at advice from people, anywhere, anything, you have to consider, what are they doing and where are they living? Because I'm telling you right now, the cost of my feed bill and the things that I do or don't do is totally different for someone that has, say, a flock of 9 chickens versus someone who's trying to pay for their farm through egg sales. Catch my drift? My life, if I have 1 child, is going to be totally different compared to someone who, say, has 9 children. So always evaluate you, your life, your goals. Start slow, slowly build big, and use the brain that God and Granny gave you. I think somebody else real smart said that before. It's just the way that it is. Hope you're well. I think Harvey agrees. We'll see you on the next video.